For all tuning in, yo, I represent Philly Cam, distinguishment of my voice is obvious who I am. James Hatcher, the host that give you food for thought, deliver you the message like the money out the vault. Worthy discussion, live performance with special guests, collaborate, communities, well-being, we invest. WPPM, don't forget the LP, 106.5 FM, also broadcast TV, Comcast Infinity, channel 66 and 966, got you all up in the mix. And if you don't got that, then switch to Verizon, Files 29 and 30, that'll get you vibing. Roku, Apple TV, even on demand. Direct TV joining us, it's the perfect plan. And if you don't got cable TV, justify the means. Go to phillycam.org live stream. I welcome all participants, including those that are listening in on this episode. Radio special titled Food for Thought. And I appreciate the opportunity to present this presentation. As to respects of PhillyCam, PhillyCam is a community of individuals within a collective of communities that are inspired to express themselves and their awareness of their uniqueness and ideas through various forms of media. So in this episode of the radio special titled Food for Thought, the theme of the topic is incorporating purpose with the synchronicities of events. The reason for one to be in any given active environment can only be actualized by that individual. This realization may incite one to acknowledge what opportunities that the environment can provide based on the individual's interests and thus bringing out the abilities that one may possess. The most prominent expectation for one to have for the self is to be in alignment with any activity that compromises their purpose. And that is the food for thought of this episode. Now we will take a short music break and return.
You're listening to WPPM 106.5 FM. This is Yell at God. We're on Food for Thought with James Hatcher. This song is called ABC, Always Build Community.
Strongest form of ammunition is the work of coalition, building up the kind of world we want. ABC, always build community. ABC, it's critical for you and me. Woo! Say hello to all the faces so that they become familiar friends. Always practice harm reduction, see this new world we're constructing. If you hurt someone, you make amends. ABC, always build community. ABC, it's critical for you and me. Woo! Getting harder, we need to be working smarter. We need a united front. Our strongest form of ammunition is the work of coalition, building up the kind of world we want. ABC, always build community. ABC, it's critical for you and me. ABC, always build community. Adversity. Woo! All right.
Joining me in this conversation is a one-of-a-kind duo whose music embeds in the mind of those music lovers that truly appreciate originality and genuine expression. Their melodic proclamations within their overall message exemplifies their heartfelt intentions when relating their songs to the audience. So without any further anticipation, I invite these special guests to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Aura.
I'm RJ.
We're Yell at God.
Well, it is a pleasure to have y'all here and present,
Likewise. Good to
and
be
everything
here.
like that. So I have a few inquiries about you. So what is the story and inspiration and significance as to naming your band Yell at God?
Well, we wanted to capture something that tried to embody expression beyond words.
Okay.
And how we can how you can capture that in music in a way that you can't really capture in any other way. That like the full-throated open yell up to the heavens that shatters the heavens.
Wow.
Is something that's kind of really needed
Right.
in the world right now, and something that we want to live by, and that we want to encourage other people to live by too, that like full open-throated
Right.
existence.
Okay. So, did y'all had to compromise with that name? I mean, it's very fitting the way you just mentioned. Coming up with the name. Did y'all had to compromise? Did y'all talk about, this is what we're gonna name it? And
We had like a little bit of a discussion, but RJ was like, we should call it Yell at God.
Okay.
And yeah.
Well,
it was like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I truly agree. So what is the title of the genre? Do you get the kind of musical works that you compose?
So we self-describe as dark folk / folk punk. We often end up playing in the folk punk space, and those folks are amazing. There's just like such an incredible embodiment of like the community values, the DIY values, do it yourself, that extends to just like art, how you build community, what mutual aid looks like, organizing, and all of that just fits really well with us. But our music doesn't really fit cleanly into any one thing. So when you go to any of our shows, you could expect to find, pretty different range of performers.
Exactly. It's not like, out of the conventional list of genres that you might hear in, so-called commercialized radio station. Plus, it's very authentic. You have a distinctive quality of sound, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, as composers and performers of music, what type of content do you have the most interest in writing about? Music based on events within an environment and community? A story that, although maybe in a form of a parable or fable, it may have a moral message directed to a realistic circumstance or possibility, or your life's personal experience along with what you like to do to display your unique individuality within the world where most things seem like it's common. So what do y'all really like to write about personally?
We really like to try and capture like raw emotion.
Right. Okay.
And whether it's kind of like the world falls away because you're in a deep, blinding, sweating panic,
Right.
or the mundane kind of like my body hurts and I don't want to get up today,
Right.
And that's a specific feeling that is kind of hard to put into words,
Right.
but is something that we try to access through a variety of like different angles, words, and voice and instruments.
On the moment. You write accordingly to the moment,
Yeah.
and everything like that, and just be in sync with having the emotion to express it.
Yeah. We'll have like a lot of conversation and then kind of like spend some time just like deeply thinking and maybe noodling around with a chord progression or something like that, and wait until words and sounds start to express themselves.
Right.
That kind of like through the conversation and through the thinking about how we're understanding the emotions that we're experiencing, letting that like organically kind of develop through a state of play and to
And just to take that back to Yell at God, like people hear that name and sometimes they perceive it understandably as like angry, like maybe this will be a really heavy band.
Right.
But like these emotional experiences aren't all negative. Like as you heard in Pennsylvania Reverie, it's about being outside in the fall and smelling the incredible air of a place you're back home in.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And feeling deeply seated in yourself, in your body, in the land that you were born in. And expressing those emotions just as much, and that's just as much what that outcry is of yelling at God.
Right, exactly. Just like I was mentioning, you know, when I hear your music, it just feels like I'm like a shooken bottle ready to explode because of the energy projected. So I didn't take it in some type of contact that, you know, it feels like, you know, you have some type of thing that you just have to get off of your chest or whatever like that, in a way where it kind of seemed like kind of moody. I felt like, you know, just the way you express yourself, you know, you talking about, you know, writing it down, the things that we reflect on, you know, because writing is like a mirror. So when we project it into that tangible form, you know, and we reevaluate what just came out of our inner essence, you know, it builds up that emotion where you're like, man, I just gotta, you know, express it in, you know, a audible way.
Yeah,
and being
absolutely.
that you're artist, it just, you know, really elaborates on the beauty of, you know, being able to express ourselves as well and everything. Okay. So from all the musical works that you have composed in your experience of making music, what song of yours that not only deem as one of your favorite songs to perform and listen to, but it is a continual inspiration for you to be reminded of your purpose, of you sharing this message?
So for me, and I think for us, we definitely, I think ABC, Always Build Community.
Okay.
The second single off of our upcoming album, Strong Feelings.
Okay.
Is definitely something that we worked a really long time to write. And we're writing other things and we're like, that's not it. Because we were seeking this mission statement that would be something that was kind of a pole star we could always come back to if we weren't sure why we were doing this, or in moments where it felt thankless or we were confused about our priorities. We wanted to always make sure we were centering on community. So definitely ABC, but also just to spotlight like a kind of a lesser known project that we do annually. Every year during the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which are called the Days of Awe, we do a 10-day album, one song a day.
Okay.
It's a
And
time of deep spiritual introspection.
Is that what you said? How you say it?
Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, yeah, it's between two of the most important Jewish holidays of the year.
Okay.
The New Year and the Day of Atonement?
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So our Days of Awe albums are usually more ambient and unstructured, and they're just kind of this spiritual upwelling. So the one from this past year, Days of Awe 5785, I think is something I come back to over and over for that, like, deep lock-in to that spirituality, that quietude,
Right.
and to letting something well up organically. Whereas with ABC, it was something that was really thoughtful, something
Right.
that we really wanted to make happen.
Okay. Okay. And what about you? Or do you feel the same way? Or what is
Yeah, I
like
mean,
your
I
favorite
think-
song that you feel personally gives you more of a reminder of, you know, your greater purpose of sharing your beauty from within as a message?
I mean, I agree with RJ about ABC. Like, it's really, I think the whole purpose of making music and sharing it with other people and performing publicly is to bring people together to have positive experiences,
Right.
where they can kind of drop away, where we can all drop away from the concerns that we have all of the rest of the time of whatever's going on in our lives. And there's certainly a lot going on in our lives. And have a chance to, you know, experience catharsis and joy together.
Okay.
Because those are the moments when we can actually build something and look towards a future that's worth living in, you know?
Okay. All right. So I would like to get into one of your songs and everything like that. So for all attendees, we really appreciate y'all being here with us on Food for Thought, WPPM 106.5 FM Philadelphia. And we're going to return with our special guest, Yell at God.
This next song is called Panic with an exclamation point.
It starts with a breath, a sharp snap. Rocked over scree, heralding go and slide. And needles in skin, rotted eyes pushing up. The cracks open wide. It's a failure, a failure. A failure of mine. When body hits glass, fall through and drown in your mind. The aftershock hits the rising tide that sticks to the face and obscures the eyes. Wrapped up in scrim that won't atomize. Gasping for breath, tear at the guys. It's a failure, a failure, a failure of mine. When body hits glass, fall through and drown your mind.
We're back on WPPM 106.5 FM. I go by the name of James Hatcher, the host of Food for Thought radio special, and we're back with the honorable special guest, Yell at God. All right, so what is the favorable routine that you like to practice before a show, which gives you the idea on how you will conduct an influential stage performance?
Well, I mean, I think as you've seen, we're pretty active on stage. So we spend a fair amount of time like stretching and connecting with our bodies and our breaths and connecting those with each other. We didn't do it today, but like in our usual live performance, we spend a few moments in complete silence, just kind of like swaying and breathing and like syncing up with each other, just like through the corners of our eyes, so that we can really like get into a moment before we launch into any performance.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, so is there any special activity that you like to do that includes the audience in your stage performance?
Yeah, we will do anything to get people dancing and singing along, clap, stomp, so we kind of are at a point where we invite people into that.
Okay.
But, in the future, we'd like to get a little more thoughtful about actually constructing experiences where people are a necessary part of it rather than that they can if they want to and feel bold. Because sometimes there are people, and I'm one of these people, I'm at a performance, I'm going to be dancing, I'm going to be singing along if I don't feel it's rude. But there are people who are shyer, and we want to make sure that they're like actively called into the performance. So that's a big goal for us.
Right. Well, I don't think y'all have that issue. Not with me, because, y'all have me jamming. All right. So,
glad to hear.
Yeah. So for any inspiring artist that may have an issue on locating a music venue to perform at when searching for one online, what is an alternative and convenient way that you can recommend them to do to still get in-person exposure and gives them the opportunity to connect with promoters?
Very good question. And I think that we kind of think like the ABC always build community is the pathway. Like anywhere you are,
right.
Just be connecting with people, be authentic with people. Don't be afraid to ask.
Right.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Right.
But another really important part of that is that when you get those opportunities, pay it forward and pay it backward. Make sure that you're always giving back to people who hooked it up for you. Mm-hmm. And also
and
giving
helping out
opportunities.
other people,
Okay.
who you're just meeting. Yeah. I think
that's a very fitting song. You put it that way. That's very fitting. I mean, that's right on point. So we're here, WPPM 106.5 FM, Food for Thought, Philadelphia. So we're going to get into another music break, a live performance from our special guest, Yell at God, and we will return.
You're listening to Yell at God on WPPM 106.5 FM. This is Food for Thought with James Hatcher. This next song is called Wild Eyed.
I feel a heartbreak coming. I feel it in my back. I cannot restrain my running. Give me, I'm never coming back. I'm singing with the trees. I'm filled overflowing, and more filled with this disease. Ooh, wild eyed. Ooh, wild eyed. Get up, a bad moon's rising. Get up, the trees are bare. Get up, and huddle closer. Ooh, wild eyed. Ooh, wild eyed. I feel a heartbreak coming. I feel it in my bones. I cannot restrain never coming home. Ooh, I, oh, I. Ooh, I, oh, I. Ooh, I, oh, I.
All right, so we're returned back to you guys, 106.5 FM. We just heard from our special guest, Yell at God, Wild Eyed, which is a very impactful song. Okay, so with the instruments that you use to produce melodies, do you perceive that your music has an interlinked connection with outdoor nature? And if so, what are the elements within the natural world that you feel unifies your relationship to it?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think at core, a lot of our music stems out of mountain music.
Okay, so the instrument you play and the instruments you play. So what's the instrument for the listeners?
I play a banjo.
Okay, and
I'm on an acoustic bass.
okay, and so with those instruments, you know, what is the elements within those that gives you the interlinked connection to nature? You were saying.
I mean, both are instruments that are kind of used in old time styles of mountain music. And acoustic bass is like often upright, but
Right.
this is more convenient. Yeah, I don't know. So, and I grew up in and out of the mountains in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And
so just that environment alone.
yeah, it's like
brings it out.
when I'm playing, I'm thinking about, you know, the hills and the trees and the sky.
Mm-hmm.
She spent a lot of time playing hill country blues before moving on to banjo when she was playing guitar more. And then, you know, I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of play in like sort of a jug band style of bass.
Yeah.
That's kind of the bedrock, and you know, she's laying like the forests and the mountains over top. So.
Yeah, well, you know, with the mountains and stuff like that, you know, I think that the instruments you play would be more fitting than somebody with a turntable trying to scratch and everything like
I think that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah,
I would love to hear that.
Yeah, I think the squirrels would be running from them instead of to them. Okay, so as to going on tour with your music, what are the differences and what are the similarities between performing locally in the city and town of your residency and performing in a different city or state that makes a lasting impression to remember and for you to share those memories, you know, to individuals that may not perceive those different environments?
I love this question because we've been touring a lot more. And when you're playing at home, you're playing with a lot of friends. You might have family there. And it might be people who know your songs and they're singing along. They know what to expect. And, you know, that's your home. But when you go somewhere else, it's just good for the soul. You meet new people. You connect with new artists of all kinds, not just musicians.
Right.
New people who might have never heard anything like what you're doing before.
Okay.
And they're both just very healing and good for each other.
Great. Okay, so in your opinion, what is a great way to incorporate pictorial art as a representation to your musical work? And why would it be important to incorporate visual arts when it comes to the promotion of your lyrical content to the public?
I mean, well, one, merch is a great way to be able to, you know, make some extra gas money, and be able to get to and from shows, and making merch yourself is very rewarding and also a great way to incorporate art. We do a lot of lino cut type of like printmaking, for like patches and shirts and stuff like that.
Okay, and the art that you put onto that, it incorporates with your lyrical content, right? So the theme that you put on the art, can you give me an example of like, one of the art designs you might have on your merch?
So we have a patch right now that is like a snake in an infinity sign.
Okay.
Around a pomegranate.
Okay.
It says "Yell at God," like in the little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the significance of that to you? What inspired you to come up with that design?
Kind of, the snake and the apple.
Okay.
Fall from grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're out of Eden, and
We gotta live with
we
it.
gotta yell about it.
Right. I hear you. And that's a serious connection. Okay. So, although the music that you produce is entertaining to listen to, what overall acknowledgement about yourself do you desire for your listeners to have when it comes to presenting your creativity to other cultures?
I would hope that people from our music get that it's important to live full-throatedly and openly and honestly, and like we said at the beginning of this conversation, like Yell at God is about like living in your full selfhood and expression, and so I think like anything that I would want people to get out of this is be yourself and be authentic.
Right, and that once again ties right into ABC. The first three letters of the alphabet, but it's dealing with everybody in the culture and the communities. So very fitting. Okay, so being that the individualization and the uniqueness of your musical expressions are obvious and separate from how other musicians in a similar music category produce content, what is one major attribute in your performances that you feel distinguishes each band member from other musicians in the same or similar genre?
So I think we're going to answer this for each other because I feel like it's always easier to hype your partner than to hype yourself. So I'm going to hype Aura for a second.
Okay.
I think that her musicality is unlike anyone that I've ever known in that she's a multi-instrumentalist. She lives and breathes music, that's common for a lot of people. But one thing that makes that different for her, I think, is that she studies a lot, but it's not getting very technical. It's not YouTube videos about how to play scales and arpeggios. It's like very personal accounts from, historical musicians, like Dwight Diller, and it's like how to play like Appalachian folk music.
Right.
And just that incorporation of history. But I think that where that meets her actual performance is not just in those skill sets and values, but also in this kind of practice of radical vulnerability.
Right.
And I only started playing music about a year ago, and it is all due to seeing her be willing, as a person who's less extroverted than I am, to just get up there and be her true self in front of people with no sense of risk about it.
Right.
Just completely intuitive. This is how you be a person and be completely vulnerable in that way. And I think that's deeply unique.
And very commendable.
Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of hard to follow up. But I think something that constantly blows me away and impresses me about RJ is she is a very new musician. Like, she's only been playing about a year, as you said, and really is polished in that amount of time. Like, she really has thrown herself into learning, like, not just bass, but many instruments. She's also a multi-instrumentalist.
Wow.
And that approach to learning music as a gestalt, not just an instrument, but like how to create music from a variety of different angles, really shows in the way that she expresses her playing.
Right.
And gives this really like beautiful and kind of hard to describe, and I've never really seen it before, of somebody with all of the like raw enthusiasm of a new musician, but like so much extra polish and understanding of like music as a whole in the way
Right.
that she approaches it, that it's kind of this like very new, very experienced musician
Right.
simultaneously. That's really exciting.
Right.
I don't know about all that, but thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I love the way that your uniqueness complements each other.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just makes that synergy, and everything. So I really, just amazed by it,
Thank you
you.
so
Okay.
much.
All right. So when an individual speaks words, whether it's about themselves or it's about others or situations that is usually a reflection of their personality, which songs that you have written best describes an aspect of your personality?
I would have to say maybe Pennsylvania Reverie.
Okay.
Because it's really has like this expression of my love of the land here, and and how that we lived in California for a while and like moved
Okay.
away from Pennsylvania, came back, and the whole time I felt like a plant that had not been potted but then
Wow.
become potted, and coming back and like feeling my roots grow back
Okay.
has been
Wow.
like a really wonderful and beautiful experience.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What about you?
A song that best describes my personality. I think probably Wild Eyed.
Okay.
I spend a lot of the time hurtling from moment to moment and just kind of processing things as they go.
Okay.
But it's also an experience that I don't mind about myself, and I find it really beautiful. And I feel like that song just expresses that really well sonically and lyrically, and like really encapsulates a part of me in that way. And it's one of my favorite too to play and sing.
Okay, well, we're going to get into another favorite. So let's get into another song. Once again, you're listening to Food for Thought on WPPM 106.5 FM, Philadelphia, with special guest Yell at God.
You're listening to WPPM 106.5 FM, Food for Thought with James Hatcher. Shout out to Allison. We are Yell at God, and this is Pennsylvania Reverie.
Oh, I love to roam through the valleys, over hilltops where the trees they grow. Well, back to home I'll go. When I miss your face, feel you in the breeze, find your kisses in the daffodils. Well, back to home I'll race. Oh, 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 hey, hey, hey. Oh, as I lie awake, feel you next to me. In the morning with the buzzing bees, the road back home I'll take. Oh, 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 hey, hey, hey. Oh, oh, oh. If I die today, use every bird to say, not even God himself on Judgment Day could ever keep me away. Not even God himself on Judgment Day could ever keep me away. Oh, 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 hey, hey, hey. Oh, 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 hey, hey, hey.
All right, so we're back once again. Really appreciate y'all being here and
Thanks for
everything.
having us.
So I got a couple more questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Okay, so is there any song of yours with a message that you feel has more of an impact when expressing it in a musical form compared to like the same message that you would speak in a regular conversation? What song would it be?
Probably Social Anxiety.
Okay.
That is not one we played today.
Okay.
It's on our most recent full release.
Okay.
Called With Bloodied Fingers. It came
Okay.
out last year in 2024.
Okay.
And is it's a song that doesn't really, like, the lyrics are "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, what have I done?" And it's about, lying in bed and looking up at the ceiling.
Okay.
And I don't think that the actual song, like, the song isn't captured in the lyrics. The lyrics are just a way to, like, have something to do with my mouth while I'm playing the song,
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about you?
I think that for this one, God is a hospital drop ceiling off an earlier release called An Us Amongst Death, which is about waking up from anesthesia, a thing that Aura underwent, during the peak of lockdown.
Wow.
And I wasn't able to be there in the hospital with her. And she basically went under anesthesia, and it was like she had died. And she came out of it and was just like, oh, what's going on? Where am I? And I think that there's just no way to encapsulate that experience. We both write prose and poetry, and yet music is still such an unparalleled way to express an experience, a
Yelling, as it
moment.
were.
Yeah, exactly. That you just wouldn't be able to carry with an essay or something, or
Right.
a poem even.
Okay.
So I think that's a good example.
Oh man. Well, okay. So, for anyone that is interested in adding your music to their personal playlist, where can they locate your music, and how can anyone that is interested get in contact with you?
You can find us on all major streaming services, as
Okay.
well as Bandcamp. And you can connect with us on Instagram at Yell_God, or at sign Yell_ at the word
Okay.
_God.
Okay.
If you type in at Yell at God, you'll find us.
Yeah.
That made it more confusing than it
Or you
needed
can
to be.
email us at yellatgod@gmail.com.
Yeah, because I don't think anybody else ever even thought of that.
Yeah. I've become very confused all of a sudden.
It's all right.
Yeah. So once again, oh man,
Oh,
it's
sorry,
been
just 1 second.
Okay.
And for people who want to connect with us, feel free to email us. Hit us
Okay.
up on social media platforms. Like, we are here to make friends. That is why we do this.
Okay.
We want to be helpful to communities. We want to know you. So
Okay.
definitely get in touch.
Okay. So what is the email?
Email is yellatgod@gmail.com.
Okay, definitely. All right. So once again, oh man, this conversation has
thanks
really
so
been a
much for having
pleasure
us. It's
and
been
everything like
amazing.
that. Like I said, your music it causes such a ripple effect on anybody that hears it because of the message that you project and everything like that. And it's been an honor. So,
Likewise.
may y'all continue to grow. I'm looking forward to continue to, keep an eye out on you and keeping an ear out on you. And so, thank you for being here and everything.
for
So,
having us.
once again, I appreciate all attendees and listeners for being here on WPPM 106.5 FM. Food for Thought. I'm the host that goes by the name of James Hatcher. Just a special announcement. The revised book, Food for Thought, Literary Concept to Theoretical Reasoning, is officially published. Special thanks to Writers Branding LCC for making it possible. And just to leave you with an insert about this book, because it's inspired by this radio special, Food for Thought. So this book is inspired by perceiving that society that shares the interests, goals, and purposes of being self-evident in its own unique way. This publication also aims to raise awareness that in a world where there is a commonality of preservation, part of the requirements of a community to sustain themselves in a successful and appreciative manner is to proclaim and live by the uniqueness that each member in society has for themselves, which as a result will be an additional contribution to the upbringing of future generations. So I'm going to leave that with y'all. This is the book, Food for Thought, Literary Concept to Theoretical Reasoning, inspired by this radio special, Food for Thought. You can reach me on my Facebook, James Hatcher. Also, make sure you check out the previous episodes on James Hatcher YouTube channel and everything like that. Just type in. You can go on any search engine and type in James Hatcher Food for Thought radio special, and make sure you check them out on the other special guest YouTube channel as well. So once again, until your next destination, take care of yourselves.